So this last week was pretty interesting. Um, it was a Tuesday, and we had just finished a pitch at work the day before, and some colleagues were down from Boston. It was supposed to be a really big day. Lots of people were coming out. And so we all went to lunch. By all, I meant four of us, all my colleagues from Boston and me. And we go to this fancy restaurant, we sit down for lunch, and all of a sudden I start feeling a bit lightheaded. Now, I've never fainted before in my life, so I don't know what fainting feels like. I've never blacked out before, so I don't know what a Good Friday night feels like. I'm just simply going on my instincts that something's gonna happen. I'm not for sure what. Could be death. You never know. And so we're sitting there at the table, and all of a sudden I look across at the woman across from me, and I just kind of give her the nod, like, something's happening. As if she was going to read my lips. And then I finally decided that I should probably vocalize what it was that was happening. So I tell them, I'm about to faint, I think. Because I didn't know. I felt like something was happening. I felt like I was about to faint, or I was about to, like, my innards were going to shut down. This was my last moments. In this final breath, I was going to see this blonde figure in front of me and say, goodbye. But it didn't happen like that. They kind of saw me start to go down, and then they all, like, kind of leapt up like a fucking brigade, and they took me outside, and we walked outside, and we sat down, and somebody brought me Coca-Cola to give me, and was like, drink this, and I was like, okay, and they were like, do you need to go to the hospital? And I was like, not yet, because I don't like hospitals, they're really cold. And then it started happening again, and, like, if I could, like, show you what I think that I look like, I think it was kind of something like this. But I'm not for sure, because I didn't have a mirror, you know? But, like, that's what I envision it is through the slits in my eyes right now. Something similar to that. So it would have been kind of frightening if you weren't prepared for it, and so I just told them, listen, take me to the emergency room, but not this one. Take me to this one, but I don't really know where this one is. And I was texting my friends, like, where should I go? Because I didn't want to go to a shitty one, because why would you? So my friends were giving me names, but I wasn't trusting their suggestions. So my colleague called his physician friend, and they finally got me to an emergency room. So we walk in, they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I feel dizzy, I feel like I'm gonna faint, I've never felt this before, this is such an interesting experience, and they're like, sit down in the waiting room. So I did. And then a man came in with a bloody hand, and then I felt even more faint, and then they called my name, and I was like, I'm gonna pass out because I just saw a man with a bloody hand, and I don't do well with blood, I don't even watch Grey's Anatomy, for Christ's sake. So they laid me down on the couch, and then they're like, you'll be taken back there immediately. And then a pregnant woman came in, and she was like, I'm dying. And so then she got cut in line, which I understood. I was like, bless her heart. Like, she's, she came in for two. So let her do her thing, and then finally I get back to the back, and they check my vitals, and they say, stop drinking. And I'm like, but I'm thirsty. And they're like, stop drinking because they're going to check your urine. I'm like, well, wouldn't that help? Didn't quite understand their thought processes. Now they were, like, making me upset and dizzy. So they get me into a stretcher bed, and then I have to pee like a So I need to pee, and they're like, can you walk? I'm like, well, I walked here, I can walk, like, but not in a straight line, so, Johnny Cash. So I get in there, and I pee, and they take my sample, which is weird. It's always weird, like, handing, like, the warm bottle back to the person, and you're just like, blah, 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 blah. So they come, and they, like, don't even check me. They're just kind of like, oh, you're dizzy, like, it happens a lot. Go home. So, okay. So I went home, and, like, they're like, call your doctor in a couple days if you still feel dizzy. So, like, in 48 hours, I still felt dizzy. Excuse me. So I call my physician, and I go in for a meeting with him, and he's like, you have severe vertigo. And now, let me tell you something about vertigo. You don't want to go. Nope. You want to vertisit. You want to vertisit. You want to vertilay. You don't want to vertigo. Vertigo is one of the most bizarre feelings. You trip over anything and nothing at the same time. You'll be like, whoa, Look down. Nothing was there. You're just an idiot, a fool. And then your friends are all like trying to sympathize with you, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry you have vertigo. That must really suck. It must be like you're being drunk. No, bitch. It ain't like I'm being drunk. I love being drunk. Everybody loves being drunk. It is like you want to be drunk because then you have a purpose for feeling like you're literally going to die. You know, having never fainted before, you don't know if this is the end, right? And you don't want the end to be in your, 1 foot by 1 foot New York apartment room. Like, hello? Is this where I want to die? No. You don't want a vertigo. Just a stupid name. And then they give you this thing called anti-vert. Like, it's like, and they're like, oh, it'll clear up. Like, what the hell? Why is it even happening to begin with? Give me some answers. So here I am, 7 days out of work, feeling dizzy as shit. It's real. Don't let anyone tell you differently.